Hello there, my name is Lamin Jai and this is News Review. Thank you for being with us today. It's been a month since the IEC started registering Gambians for the December presidential election. We find out how the exercise is unfolding in faraway Basse. Also, the University of the Gambia has been gripped by fresh uncertainty as industrial action gets underway involving the staff of the Top Learning Institute. We will be interviewing the president of the Faculty and Staff Association, Dr. Ali Jiba, there, but also the Rock the Vote concert will take place on Saturday. I'll be speaking to those behind this very important concert geared towards encouraging young Gambians to register to vote in the upcoming presidential election. Before all of this, let's see what the newspapers say today. We will begin with the Standard newspaper. Local government awaits governor's report on Manduar violence. That's their lead story there. The Minister of Local Government, Musa Drame, has disclosed that as the line ministry, his office will naturally have to look at the incident in Manduar village, but only after the governor of West Coast region submit a report after completing investigations into the incident there. A voter registration exercise for the settlement turned chaotic after two attestation points belonging to different alkalulu or village heads ignited a showdown over which one is legitimate to approve attestations. People of Manduar Mandinka, the original settlers of the area, opposed the authority of the Tuba Manduar Alkalo, mainly habited by the Wolofs, to issue his own attestations for claimants from his own community there. UK company directors to stand trial for deaths of 4 Gambians, 1 Senegalese. 2 company directors have denied charges relating to the deaths of 5 men at a recycling plant. Almamo Jame, Usman Jabi, Bangale Dukure, Saibo Silla and Mohamedou Jagana died at Shred Met's premises in Birmingham on 7th July 2016. The 2 directors plus 2 recycling firms have been charged with health and safety offences. Wayne Hawkswood and Graham Woodhouse appeared at Birmingham Crown Court on Tuesday to deny charges against them. Let's see what other story we have on the Standard there. Court revokes alleged fake gold dealers' bail. Principal Magistrate Aissatou Dabo of the Brikama Magistrate Court has revoked the bail of one Keba Bajaha, a businessman. Bajaha was initially granted bail in the sum of $700,000 while standing trial for obtaining money by false pretense. However, in the last sitting, the court heard that Keba Bajaha was absent in court for a year and traveled out of the country without making any application to grant him permission to travel. Let's see what the other newspaper we have is Foroya. Let's see what they report on today. Nala lawyers begin indefinite sit-down strike today. In fact, that strike has commenced. We are more to understand. These are government lawyers who work at the National Agency for Legal Aid there. Anonymous sources at the NALA has informed this medium, that's the Foroya, that the agency's legal unit will begin an indefinite sit-down strike effective July 1st, 2021 until their demands are addressed by the concerned authorities. Well, they want a rise to their pay, but not only that, they are complaining that they have only one vehicle, and that vehicle is so bad that it often breaks down on the road. So let's see, calm returned or restored in Manduar. That's also on the Foroya today. The situation at Manduar village in West Coast region has calmed now as mediation efforts by government and IEC officials and villagers seem to be working. Yes, let's take a short break and we'll return. Welcome back. So the IEC began registering Gambians in May. That was late May. Now it's been a month since this exercise began ahead of the election. in December. But how are things or the registration looking like in Basse? Fatou Camara reports.
The December presidential election is only months away, and Gambians have been busy registering to vote. From Banjul to Koina, the IEC has installed voter registration centers everywhere to enable eligible Gambians to register. The exercise is well noticed in Basse.
It depends on the center. Yeah, the first center, the turnout was, it was much. Now we are at the community center. Also, they are turning out. The turnout is okay here also. People are coming up on a daily basis. And if you can observe, this is a commercial area. So people go about their businesses. When they have time, they come and register. Unlike other areas whereby it's just like a settlement, whereby people just drop in. But here, people are doing their normal businesses, but they come whenever they have time. 1, 2, 3 persons come around, 5, 6, 7, they come, they register, and they go back to their normal daily businesses.
18-year-old Kumba Drame and Alhaji Silla were out to get their voter registration. They called on their peers to get their voters' cards.
Natal purka voters card nini. Purusaje nsi vote ninga voters card soto nsi voting ke lafta vote ka vote me. Mulati na mfundita purka voters card nini. Ninga na friends all men fanang ye wo age soto mba fole ne ko puru ye funti na voters card nini saje mulsi voting ke no mala country molie. Ni lafta voting ke la mo mondi ye voting ke o Mario ye.
Dem fundita purka na voters card nini na because ngajelo ko nga age soto purka fundika na voters card nini. I vote for the right person that I want to vote for. The thing that I have to say to my fellow boys is that let them come out. Those that are having the age of 18, more than 18, to come out.
Not everyone has gotten their voter's card yet. This man doesn't have his.
No, yenta ka traile, ndeka ngasotole. Ndeka ID card sotole, bari manta wote card la ko. No ma fola was not hajulela. Bari musoli ninga wole kachandi kwa. Ya force ya wote card sotole komi isi carte fay no nyamen. Muna musol. Ngoto mala musolo nte fanna musol be no nte mandunga kono folo ko bay be haju kono bari nyanta ka tray ko kaso ngiga ibe kono mare nchar ko lukuda nganta ko ina tray na ntoko takunu be banda bandu ko tenunga nanti karanga nyene karanta ganyene angama na ngai din kadina nye wotin kadina nyama Kenya important inen Kenya pasanga takunu anga digan kawun kono Bosani di jamane lemenye ana kaidi nyana ko ni nantani jamane lemenye kaidi ganda maka ko na hantai.
In Basse, the voters' registration has been going on smoothly. This part of the Gambia will play an important role in deciding which candidate goes to State House come December. Fatou Camara reporting for the Fatou Network News Review.
Welcome back. So all is not well at the University of the Gambia. Really, there are a lot of issues there that the university is grappling with. And now the Faculty and Staff Association of the UTG there is threatening industrial action. In fact, a strike began today, and this is causing a lot of problems, including students not being able to sit to their exams, which was supposed to start today. And so now I'm joined by the president of the Faculty and Staff Association of the University of the Gambia, Dr. Aliou Jiba, really to talk to us about all the issues at the UTG. Doctor, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Lamin, for having me in the studio.
I know there are a lot of issues at the university at the moment, but let's begin with you. You were a member of the select committee for the new vice chancellor of the UTG. You abruptly resigned. Why did you resign?
Thank you, Lamin, and thank you, Fatou Network, for inviting me. Yes, according to the UTG bylaws, a joint site committee for the vice chancellor should be established. 3 members should be nominated by Senate, and then 3 members to be nominated by Council, yes, and the chairperson of Council. So we are 7 in number. So we met on a Saturday, I think on 26th of May, to discuss about the advertisement and processes and procedures involved in the selection of a vice chancellor. Because vice chancellor is a very important person, is the titular head of the University of the Gambia. So leadership is very important for the University of the Gambia, the staff of the University of the Gambia. So I was part of that committee, and then I disagree with some of the issues raised. I told them that with all due respect, the registrar, university registrar, should not be part of the joint site committee because the bylaws did not mention him there. The registrar shall be the secretary to Senate, the registrar shall be the secretary to council, the registrar shall be the secretary to other committees. But for the joint site committee, he is clearly out of it. So people, the management is misinterpreting that section of the bylaw. Where the registrar should take part is clearly mentioned. So I told them he should not be part of it. He said no, he shall be the secretary to the joint site committee because he's going to work directly with the vice chancellor, and he could compromise the performance of the vice chancellor, as we are seeing today. I'm an insider. I've been the president for the past 3 years. I know what I'm talking about. So they said no, he should be part of it. The second reason why I resigned is I told them let's have a universal email, a uniform email rather, a single email, and we share the password among the the committee members. They said no, it's only the registrar and the chairperson, the chairman of council, who should have access to the email, to the email and to the applications of all the applications of these people applying for the position. Yes. So I told them, then what is the use of the joint site committee? We should have access to the application so that we can know who applied. So there's a fear that potential Gambians could be blocked because there are rumors going around that the Mohas is interested in bringing another vice chancellor from Malaysia. So Gambia is a small country, so people are aware. I don't know how true it is, but there could be some elements of truth. So that is the second reason.
Go on, yes.
So they refused. They told me, no, if you need the application, then we can forward it to you. I said, no. Then the joint site committee is useless at this moment. They refused. The third and the final reason was for the position to be advertised for 12 months. The condition of service says it should be advertised for 12 months. They refused. They said no. So they want to advertise it for 6 weeks. Why? Gambians want to apply. We have competent Gambians. We have competent non-Gambians who want to apply. So they need enough time. So then the next vice chancellor coming, within the 12 months, can be given some time to coach and to properly hand over to the new vice chancellor. So they refuse. I resign.
Who is responsible? Who you are saying who they? Who is this they or the they that you are referring to? Who are they? Who are these people? Is it the Minister of Higher Education? Is it the President? Because I know the President has a hand. In fact, he's the one who appoints the Vice Chancellor of the university. Are you referring to the President? Is it the President who wants to pick some person from Malaysia and install him as the new Vice Chancellor of the UTG?
Yeah, here when I say they, I'm referring to the Joint Site Committee because we are 7 in number. So when I say this, they voted against it. That's what I'm saying, they. Yeah, but as you know, the Act clearly mentions that 3 best candidates should be selected, and then presented to the Chancellor, who is the President, and then he will make the final decision. He will choose the right person.
So you are saying they advertised this for, weeks, when it should take 12 months for them to advertise this position. So what is the issue now in respect of your association? You guys have the staff. You are the president of that staff association. What exactly do you want to be done now?
Well, we want them to. We have written to council to suspend the advertisement until and unless proper procedures are followed. Because universities should set standards, both on administrative and academic matters, because it's the highest institution of learning. So therefore, we are particularly concerned about a vice chancellor. We have seen what has happened in the previous years. If you have a foreign vice chancellor, I'm not saying we should not have it, but let me explain. If you have 2 competent vice chancellors, a Gambian and a non-Gambian, they're all competent, equal in everything. We prefer a Gambian vice chancellor because he understands the way institutions are operated in the country. He or she understands the culture and the mindset of the people. Before you bring another person, and then who is going to depend on Gambians? Oh, how is this? How is that? How are these policies operated? This is a problem. So that's why I said I'm not advocating for Gambian, but majority of the staff, and I can tell you, every Gambian prefers to have a Gambian, UTG to have a Gambian vice chancellor, because we can see previously and what is happening now, a Gambian and a non-Gambian. The current vice chancellor is a very good person. He has good policies, but he's surrounded by people who are not telling him the reality, and that's the fact.
So he has people who are misleading him?
Of course.
How?
Because anytime, for example, the registrar will write, say, at the instance of the Vice Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor seems like he's not taking any action. It seems like he's confused. He's not giving the due respect. Normally, the Vice Chancellor should have the frequency of meeting the Chancellor, who is the President, according to the Act. But sometimes it seems like, I asked him the other time, he just mentioned a few times he met the President. So the Vice Chancellor also can be asked, for example, clear all the students, even though we don't pay their tuition fees. He will fear, and then he will clear them. It happens. Come and meet me here, and then he will leave his office and go. So it doesn't work.
How are the working conditions like at the UTG for staff, for some of you lecturers who work there?
Well, this is another news review because it's a lengthy discussion. The conditions, in short, we are, let's say 70-30. 70 is not in favor of the staff. At least 30% is somehow manageable because at least the staff association is helping to improve the system.
Yes.
It's helping a lot to improve the system because we set up the research directorate, which is bringing millions for to the University of the Gambia. Over 20 years, there was no research directorate. It's only the staff association under our executive, and then who brought the development there, and then the research directorate, the student directorate, and then a lot of things have been established by the staff association. We have increased salaries of UTG twice for the past couple of years, until the top management that is against the staff association at this moment, and they are part of the staff association, they benefited 25 to 30,000 added to their salary. We have brought that change to them. We demanded that salary should be increased to improve, at least improve the performance of the staff. And that has been achieved, but it's buried under the carpet. They are not talking about those things.
So your industrial action, what does it really entail? It started today. We were made to understand. What does it entail?
Well, we are looking for transparency for the selection of a vice chancellor. We are looking for a conducive environment for both students and lecturers. So it's very important. All the demands which you are coming to discuss, they are all geared towards student welfare. It's not only lecturers, student welfare. Majority are for the students. Because we embark on an familiarization tour, we went to all the schools, including the medical schools. Some schools, they don't even have markers. Some schools, they don't even have projectors. They don't even have labs, specialized labs, simulation labs. Computers are not working, internet access. So some lectures are cancelled. This is harming the students. That's why we ask the students not to interfere. We are going to correct the system. So management knows about it. Just recently, 2 weeks ago, they traveled to Nigeria for 14 days. They never notified the staff. And then they came 2-3 days, they went back to Dakar. Can you imagine? With all this crisis, they never inform anybody. You go to the office, you don't find them there. And they're talking about best practices. So we cannot accept this situation to continue. This is not a primary school. Even primary school, when the principal travels, he informs the teachers and the students that the principal is not here. They are all aware.
So the staff, are you refusing to report to work? You are not going to work, right?
Right now, they are not going to work. This is a unanimous agreement. Almost 96% agree to stay home because the problems are huge and they're compounding.
And this is what it has led to. I mean, the students, you said that you've asked the students not to interfere, yet they've gotten caught up in this whole entire row. They are suffering. They were supposed to start their exams today, and that is not possible. So, I mean, really, what do you have to say about that?
Students are our best friends. As I told you, we established a research directorate for them, staff association, so that it can interface between the students and the staff, students and the management. So it's very important. Some said we are punishing them because of exam day. Look, you have to strike when the iron is hot so that you can have a better shape of the iron. There are still rooms for exams. The next semester begins in September, and we are open for dialogue with all the stakeholders in the presence of the Minister of Higher Education. And I repeat, he must be present. National Assembly Select Committee on Education, the Office of the President as the Chancellor representative, and also the Governing Council and the University Management under one roof. They all meet the staff. Yes. We address this issue, and this can be solved within a week. It will not even take 1 week to solve all this problem. But they are not committed, they don't want to come. We want them to come to the University of the Gambia. We are not going to any place. Let them come and find us, we solve our problem. So we are not punishing the students. Students, we write recommendations letters for them. We continue to coach them, even after their studies. Almost all the students that I have written recommendation letters, 98% of them have got scholarships. Some of them are doing PhD, some of them are doing masters. So we are not doing this to punish the students. We are helping them. If you look at all the list of demands, it's all in favor of the students. We are really helping them. We are concerned about our students because these are the future leaders. These are the ministers, these are the directors. So when UTG is spoiled, it's not performing according to expectation, then these people, what would they do in the ministries? So we are trying to correct the system, and now is the right time.
I have seen, I mean, the Vice Chancellor somewhere condemning, I mean, your actions. Have you seen that?
I have seen that, but it's not the Vice Chancellor who wrote it.
Who wrote that?
I don't know. It's not him. I'm so 100%. We know, but
are you saying that there is someone who is using the Vice Chancellor?
This is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm telling you. The Vice Chancellor is a good man. I know him, but he cannot work because he's not giving the support. He didn't write that letter. He doesn't command. He doesn't dictate. They're threatening the staff. Now they will see the consequences. They said we will face gross, misconduct or gross consequences.
Yes.
Now let's see who will face the consequences. You cannot threaten academic staff. You solve academic problems with negotiation. This goes to show the wrong leadership of UTG. We don't have a leadership. How can we threaten the staff? Now they are begging us to come for negotiation. We told them come to UTG. In our hall, you sit there and sweat. There are no proper ventilations. Everyone coming, no matter which sector you come, you'll find us there and we'll all sweat and know that our university is dying.
How many of these staff are involved in this? Because I have seen that, I mean, you held an extraordinary congress in June. That was just last month, the 28th of June. You had about 160 delegates. So are you saying that this is what comprises your staff base?
We have more than 500 staff at UTG. Some are on studies, some couldn't come. But those who were in attendance were 160. Only 4 voted no. They, for the reasons best known to them.
Yes.
But majority of the staff, then they voted yes, because they know why they voted yes. Mm-hmm. Because this thing is affecting everybody. It's affecting every sector.
Yes.
You know, our graduates are empty.
Yes.
You know, they are just graduating with A+, but they are not well equipped with materials, and the resources they need to advance their career.
And then you, at your meeting, you had outlined about 20 demands, and you want all these demands to be met and be met as soon as possible. One of those key demands, of course, you are talking about the interim governing council being dissolved and be replaced with a substantive governing council. What do you mean by that?
Interim governing council, interim should not be more than a year, according to the Gambian laws, according to the GO, according to many laws in this country. The interim has been there for 4 years. It's illegal, its presence, its operation is illegal. So therefore, we have discussed this issue. You know, in their letter, they said these issues have never been discussed. We have evidence since 2019. And the minutes at the office of the president, where the university was present, the university management rather, and the student union leadership, and then the university staff association. We all discussed about all these issues we are talking about here since 2019, but it has not been resolved. Governing council, if you have a dynamic and proactive governing council, the vice chancellor must be forced to work, or must work conditionally and unconditionally. Governing council is very important. It's everything. If things goes fine, then the governing council is good. If the university is not functioning, then the problem is with governing council. So the interim has been there for 4 years, which is wrong. Lawyers are following this program. They know what I'm talking about. It's totally wrong. We want a substantive governing council to be appointed by the chancellor, the president of the Republic of the Gambia, according to the act.
You also want a joint search committee, but you already have one. You clearly have a problem with that. In one of your demands too, you said you want a new or a fresh joint search committee for the governing council, but also the Senate.
This is why we wrote to them to suspend the advertisement, because we know that it's not going to work. It has to be dissolved. If this is not dissolved, this can be dissolved within a minute. Just give directives. Even the composition of the governing council is not in line with the 2016 Tertiary and Higher Education Act. The composition, the people there, they are not the composition in the governing the act for the governing council is not in line with what is happening now. Even the mayor of Carnifin, because the university is in Carnifin municipality, should be part of the governing council. So it has to be dissolved with immediate effect. Even within an email, by sending an email, it can be dissolved. If the minister gives directives, it will be dissolved. Then you write to those people who, according to the act, invite them to be part of the governing council. This can be done within a couple of minutes. So that's why I say this can be achieved, all our demands within a week.
How about the claims? Because I think this is also very important, and someone might say that this, in fact, this is the reason why you are going on on this proceeding, on this industrial action. This has to do with the issue of money. The Ministry of Higher Education owing the staff a staggering $150 million.
Yes, we are not money hungry. We are there for the betterment of the university. You will not see anything about money here. These areas coming is going to be the money, if they are recovered or if they are fully paid, they'll be used to construct some specialized libraries, buy materials, because the university, they are not looking into those things. They are traveled to Senegal and Nigeria without informing the staff for 15 days, and then it's all for money. It's nothing else.
But what is this money all about? Can you tell us that?
Money,
this is not your salary.
Exactly.
But these are what are these monies for then?
These areas, UTG is subvented with less than $2 million, sometimes $2 million maximum every month. Our salaries are up to more than 10 million. Some say even 15 million. The difference is how much? It's 13 million. Where is it coming from? Tuition fees. MOHAS, the Ministry of Higher Education, will award scholarship. Let's say, for example, 500 to 500 students.
Yes.
At the end of the day,
yes,
well, they will pay maybe less than 20%. So, for example, the scholarship value for 500 students, if you calculate it, is up to more than 60 million. If you check the records, they pay less than 10 million at the end of the academic year. 60 million for the academic year you pay. So it keeps compounding. When Professor Ka left, the areas between us and MOHAS were 15, not more than 17 million. But now they're up to 150 because they award scholarship and they don't pay. So I don't blame MOHAS totally. Because why? Maybe I will confirm, in fact, without saying maybe. The way they are, the budget for higher education is very small. If it is 300 million, it's going to be shared between UTG, MDI, GTDI, and which school? Gambia College, and the Gambians abroad, if I'm correct, and the Gambians abroad. So UTG, you are sending 500 students. The scholarship is 64 million. If you are subvented with 200 million, how? So they will fall short. So that's why the Ministry of Finance, they have to take this into consideration.
Yes.
So therefore, this one, this 150 million,
yes,
is as a result of this compounding debt. So those students who are given scholarship letters and then they are not paying, they are sitting with the poor farmer student in the same class. Is it fair? It's not fair. So when they pay us, we'll be able to manage with our meager resources that we have. So this 150 million is as a result of these MOHAS areas because they are not paying. They are doing their best. Maybe another problem is since they are not given enough to the university, I encourage them to give enough to the university. So MOHAS, if you know that what you have is not sufficient, it can only sponsor 10 students. Sponsor 10 students. Get back to the government. Go to parliament. Tell them what I have is not enough. Rather than sending 500 students and then you are not helping the university, is compounding loans. And when you talk, they say you are a troublemaker. Gambia is a small country. We know what's happening here. So this money, is when we recover this money, it's for the interest of the students. It's not for salaries. We have to work and structurize the University of the Gambia. So
and you want these monies to be able to, provide access to, for example, regular internet connectivity to all your various campuses, buy projectors, construct specialized libraries for schools.
Even some schools, they're giving permanent markers. They say they don't even know it's permanent marker. When they write it's permanent, instead of giving the permanent employment, they are giving the permanent markers. It's a problem. This is a university, what we have. We have to speak out so that the stakeholders can come and help us. Policymakers can come and help us.
Yes.
If these areas are not full, they are not paid in full,
yes,
we are not going to class. There will be no exam for 6 months.
After 6
months, if they are not paid, we'll add another 6 months. Until the system is regulated, we have a standard university and move on for 20 years.
So you are ready to stand your ground on this issue?
They threaten us. Now who is begging us for dialogue?
So now they are coming to you
of
to
course,
beg for you to
they know the academic staff, you cannot threaten them. Go to Nigeria. When they're on an industrial action, everybody will stay on. Even the water, they will cut it off. I'm coming. And everything. There was a staff that I was told he went to teach. They beat him up. Those people, they don't take this light.
But aren't you afraid of losing your jobs, for example? We have seen when UDP leader Usain Dabo was vice president, when the nurses said they were going to protest. He said they were going to lose their jobs and they will hire fresh people. So you are not afraid of that, right? Your jobs.
My jobs?
Yes.
Our faith, all the staff, let me put it that way, their faith is in the Almighty. Nobody can terminate our jobs. You cannot terminate somebody's job without following due process. You must assess the person. You must, the performance of the person must be evaluated to know whether he's, and you give him a warning letter that you are not performing, please do this and that. But just come and terminate somebody's work like that, it will not be good. And if you touch any staff at UTG, you have touched everybody.
Touch one, touch all.
That's
your principle.
Yes, even touch half, touch all. We are not going to joke with that. So Mohas have to pay all, otherwise we are not going to class. Students will not have their...
You will not go to class.
No.
But doctor, also the issue of an independent investigation into your salary scales. How about that? What are you talking about here? You want an independent investigation into your salary scales?
Yes, because salaries, some people are paid more than their immediate bosses. That's why I want to stop, because it's an internal matter. So we want...
What do you mean by that?
If you are my boss, I'll be paid more than you. It's happening at UTG.
Do you have evidence for this?
We have the facts.
Why do you think this is happening?
It's because of maladministration. This is what I'm telling you about. What I'm telling you right now is because of leadership problem. The governing council should engage the university instead of the university engaging the governing council.
Yes.
Instead of relying on whatever they give you, approve, you don't know what's happening. It doesn't work like that. So it must be investigated, and this matter we can take it to the Supreme Court. I just don't want to reveal. But some people are paid more than their immediate bosses, and we have facts and evidence. We are not going to tell you anything here with that. If tomorrow, if you ask to produce it, we'll produce it. Everything is at our disposal. So it has to be investigated totally, and then so that now they pay accordingly.
In your demands too, retiree holding administrative positions in the UTG, is this also happening at the UTG?
Everything is happening at UTG. Everything is happening at UTG. Let me put it that way, because you are surprised by this. The condition of service says a retiree should not hold university office. You see the simplicity of the language.
Yes.
If you are retired from civil or public service, you come to the university, you can be contracted, you can go for lecture, but you cannot be a dean and a head of department. It's not possible. And they are there as deans and head of departments. With all due respect, I respect all of them. But they have retired, the condition of service did not allow them. So management is ignoring them. Since 2019 at the office of the president, we discussed about this. But no step has been taken. So now action, because the only language they can know or they understand is sit down strike. Come and see, all these problems will be solved. Because we are on our grounds, we are not going to conduct any exam for 6 months if this thing is not solved. And these things can be solved within a week, as I'm telling you. So let students and every parent understand what we are doing. We are trying to help our students.
So I know the UTG has no staff tribunal where when issues come up, people can turn to this tribunal for redress. And in your extraordinary meeting or congress, if you like, you also resolved that this is one of the things that you really want in place at the UTG. Very important institution. But yet, you have all these things missing.
Yeah, this is why we came here, so that policy makers can help us. Because this is ignored by the council. That's why we want a substantive governing council to look at every aspect that the staff need, or to apply the act according to the letter. So this staff tribunal, as you mentioned, is not there. It's in the Act 2016, Tertiary and Higher Education Act, but it's ignored. It's the responsibility of the governing council to establish the principal magistrate to head it. So it's not happening. So that's why anything that happens, we can take it, channel it to the Supreme Court instead of following the due process.
But what about the registrar of the UTG? What problem do you have with him? You are saying he should hand over all the records and correspondence.
He is micromanaging the university human resource management. When the director went for studies, he was asked to act, which is wrong. HR is a specialized area. It's a specialized field.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Before you do HR, before you become a HR manager or director, you must study psychology. You must study sociology. Do you understand?
Yes.
These are all areas to understand the people. Because sometimes people come with frustration, with anger. Sometimes they come to your office and they have witnessed something in the morning. Maybe their parents were hitting each other. So when the person approaches you, you should understand the psychology of the person. You should understand the way the person thinks. And that the registrar is interfering in the HR matters, which is very wrong. It's affecting the day-to-day running of the university. It's affecting the student performance. So he has a lot to do as a registrar. But he said, no, HR, according to the Ohutu report. Ohutu report was a consultancy given to one professor. And then it was done, Mohas gave it to him, and then he provided some recommendation. But that cannot supersede the acts and the condition of service that we have. So he's empowering himself, entrenching himself to make sure that he controls the HR, which is a strategic area. HR department, because who's coming and who's going is with him. So he's having this back and forth with the director every time. The lady, we have all those correspondence is at our own disposal. So he has to hand over because he's compromising the work of the HR. HR is under DVC, Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration.
Yes.
Do you understand? So if nothing, the director should report to him. The registrars shall report, I'm quoting the act, to a designated Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, and that is Deputy Vice Chancellor for academics. That's all. That's what the act says. The condition of service did not say he has to do. So if they are quoting something and they're misinterpreting, misinforming the public, they can quote the condition of service, but it's not particularly referring to this. So he's busy, becoming a PhD student at the same time a registrar. I'm not trying to tarnish his image, but this is what is happening. Everybody knows about it. He was a student and a registrar at the same time. So he said over his dead body he's not going to hand over. And we have written to him, copied the minister, copied the governing council, that let the person honorably hand over the HR. It's under the DVC management, administration, and it's not under his purview.
So you are also saying those who are holding double positions in UTG. I know we talked about the issue of people getting paid more than their immediate supervisors, but you're also talking about people holding double positions in UTG. That is also happening.
I told you everything is happening at UTG. Everything possible could happen at UTG. And some are happening, some serious issues are happening at UTG. Some they are holding double positions. For example, you have the dean and then a deputy vice chancellor. For example, you are a deputy vice chancellor, at the same time, you are an acting dean. And you are paid allowances for acting dean. And even the registrar for overseeing, coordinating the HR, as he claimed, is being paid money.
Yes.
And this is an act of, it's a crime.
Yes.
You are paid for something you don't deserve. So people are holding double positions at UTG. So they have to relinquish one and allow other, other positions to be given to others.
So quickly, what are some of the other issues that I know you have about 20 demands? What are some of the other issues that you really want the administration of the UTG to address as a matter of urgency?
Okay, elections of deans and head of departments. Some have been acting for long. Either they are confirmed or, in fact, there should be election according to the condition of service, which says a senior lecturer should be the dean and then can contest for the deanship. Also, the position of the deputy vice chancellor for admin and finance should be advertised. Also, a full-fledged engineering program. We want it to start next semester because we were stopped. By, I don't want to be specific here, but we were not allowed to continue the engineering program.
But I think it is important that you mention who this is.
It is. The Ministry of Higher Education stopped us from continuing the program.
Why?
Because they said we don't have the capacity.
But do you really have the capacity? This is your supervising
GTTI, they said
authority.
should be a specialized university of engineering. Fine, let them do that. But the best thing is to support the university. And I always tell people, and I send this message to the president, that the best legacy, one of the best legacy he can leave for Gambia is to reform the university with laboratories, with everything they need. So therefore, GTTI being a university, that's fine. But we want our own engineering program. And no one can stop us. So we are going to continue advertising all the engineering programs. We will advertise and we will run it.
How interested
we will start
is your chancellor in the affairs of or the welfare or the well-being of the UTG? Your chancellor, that's the President Adama Barrow.
The vice chancellor should be meeting him anytime he needs him. So I don't know whether that's happening frequently. Seems like it's not happening frequently. So
how does that affect the UTG?
It's affecting us because
its development.
It's affecting us because now he's relying on the ministry. Because he appointed the Minister of Higher Education. I think they are working together, very well to improve the status of the university. But right now, we need his support. Sometimes we go to the office of the President and then we went up to the Secretary General to sit and discuss the affairs affecting the university. That has been done. We have done everything for 3 years to avoid industrial action. So that's why the Wolof say push and the Yes. So now we are at the wall. So the vice chancellor, the chancellor himself, he promised to support the university, and we are appealing to him to continue supporting the university. Let him reform university and close GTTI being a university. GTTI, let it continue as a technical school. That's it.
But the president doesn't want that. We have heard the president say they want to transform the GTTI into a university.
The president is listening now. Let him balance the two.
Yes. So you are saying that doesn't make sense?
It doesn't make sense.
Why?
It doesn't make sense.
Why?
You have a
What is the problem with a country having 2 universities? What is the problem with that?
You can have 1,000 universities. Nigeria, they have many universities. Senegal, they have many universities. They are even constructing a university of agriculture in Kaulak. Because St. Anto Job is full-fledged university, it has bred other universities. You know, before you go and build another university, and this university is dying, and you know that 80 to 95% of your employees come from UTG. Why can't you empower the university until it becomes a full-fledged university with all programs? Then it can breed specialized universities, like University of Agriculture, University of Engineering,
yes,
whatever,
yes.
like in Ghana. You know, this is what is done. But if you open another university, it's going to affect the UTG of the University of the Gambia. And it's going to cost the government of the Gambia.
How is the issue of quality like at the UTG? People say, well, you said it is dying, the UTG is dying. But every year you churn out hundreds of graduates. And these are people that every now and then you hear people say, well, people go to the University of the Gambia. I mean, when they come out, they cannot do anything. How is the issue of quality output like at the UTG?
NACA has a role to play to make sure that the university, the problem is it's not easy to mention everything. But
we have to mention these things for us to be able to find a solution to some of these things. Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
So what are the problems?
No, but you are in a better position to tell our visas.
I will tell them.
Yes, just tell us. Just tell us, doctor.
Tell me what you have learned.
No, but tell us.
I will tell you.
I work as a journalist, and I think I am good at what I am doing. So, but you tell us, in terms of these claims out there, really, what the people are saying, that people go to university, when they come out, they have nothing to show for. Because you put them in a place they cannot do the work.
Because the structures are not there. They are not being capacitized. Everybody is concerned about money. I receive my salary, I go. That's why the staff association is trying to bring things together.
Yes.
Students cannot go to class and they learn theory without, some of our engineering students, they go to Senegal to do their practicals. Some go to India to do their practicals. Can you imagine? Simple things, we can have it here. You understand? Yes. So this is harming us.
Yes.
It's hampering the university seriously. Quality assurance, we set up the Directorate of Quality Assurance, the staff association. We realized that they need it. So that's why we came up and said, look, we need these things to help us. But right now we are just going small. And some programs, as I told you, UTG is not in the place to have a PhD program. I can tell you that.
Yet it is happening.
They have, and that is wrong. Like, for example, public administration. I'm not saying this to discredit anyone. I'm sorry if I hurt anyone. Yes. Public administration. And then masters. We started less than 5 years, we have PhD. Because, people don't want to leave their jobs and go and do PhD somewhere, or someone to act on their behalf. They managed to bring, these tag professors from Nigeria to run the PhD program.
But you are saying that this doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Because why? All these people who applied who are enrolled into the program, they're all full-time workers.
Yes.
How can you do a PhD program in 3 years or less than 3 years with your full-time job in the Gambian environment? Are you counting? With a full-time job in the Gambian environment where the noise is everywhere, sometimes the traffic you quarrel, how can you read and understand? And then you do not take a leave. You finish in 3 years. In the case of the registrar, he was there as a student and as a PhD candidate. As a PhD candidate and a registrar at the same time. He did not take leave and someone to act for 3 years. It didn't happen. How would we produce quality?
Doctor, this is very serious, because if you are saying the University of the Gambia hasn't gotten to that level of administering PhDs, and now you have people graduating from the University of the Gambia with PhDs, how does that affect the development of this country then? Because you have people who are not qualified to hold certain diplomas, and they are holding it.
This is why I'm telling you.
So that is a problem.
We came to solve that problem. Now people are reading between the lines. They know what the staff association, they are not joking. The whole staff agreed to this sit-down strike because they don't understand that the system is not done. NACA has a great role to play on this. So, you see, 3 years program with your full-time job, where have you had that? I finished
this is serious, doctor.
I finished my PhD program in 3 years. But I was able to combine 2 universities because my scholarship finished in 3 years. They told me, you'll pay for yourself after 3 years. I have to leave that university and go and join another university. Now I have to combine 2 universities in Hungary to make sure that I complete my program. And I was the only one who graduated. I was the only one. I left other students there. With that, I was suffering because I have to produce new scientific knowledge. Here, you become a PhD candidate, you are working full-time in this Gambian environment, people are confused here and there, traffic is jammed, you are insulting. Look, it doesn't favor you. No reading materials, you are just there, and at the end of the day, you are awarded a degree.
And then you are awarded a PhD degree.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to discredit any individual here.
Some
people can misinterpret what I'm saying.
Yes.
But I'm talking about the facts. You cannot have a PhD program for 3 years and then with your full-time job. It's wrong. And you become a student and a registrar. It's wrong. It's happening at the UTG. We have to speak out now to end this problem. UTG should hold this program. NACA should come and investigate whether they have the manpower to handle the program.
But has it ever happened? Has it ever happened in the case of NACA coming after the UTG? All the time you would hear NACA going after other tertiary institutions for quality purposes. But has it ever happened for NACA to go to the university to ensure that whatever comes out from our university is something that is based upon quality?
They usually come. In fact, last month they came. They are doing their best. That's why when we met at the Senate, I told them, allow NACA to do their job. Whenever they identify problems, we work on those problems. I was not present. I think I was not in town. But unfortunately, NACA has shut down Legacy University because they don't have the capacity. There was a report in 2019.
Yes.
If I'm a staff, I love the university. Nobody loves the university more than I do. You understand? And no one loves the students more than I do. The students know that. My students are listening. NACA came, and there was a draft report, which I have in my possession. UTG did not meet the standard of a university.
Yes.
And it's just a public university, but otherwise, they recommended this university to be closed. If the university didn't meet the requirement, which is 51, and UTG was below, according to the draft report, which I have.
So you are saying that qualified UTG for it to be shut, for it to be closed?
For it, because people are saying it's just like a primary school. I'm not trying to discredit the university. It's trying. Initially, what happened yesterday is better than today.
But
like during the UEP, University Extension Program,
yes,
up to the first 10 years, is better than what is happening today. That means, what is that telling you?
But doctor, are we really serious about moving this country, about taking this country forward, when you have the highest institution of learning, I mean, performing so badly as you would say? I'm
not saying performing so badly. They are performing, and then, to be honest, not up to expectation. Let me give credit. They are doing well. They are doing their best. They need support from the Chancellor, from the National Assembly. You know, let the National Assembly take up the salaries of the UTG. Right now, we have a deficit. Sometimes the university will struggle to pay salaries. So therefore, what was the question, sorry?
The question is, how does this, are we really serious about developing this country?
You see, countries like Singapore.
Because education is what moves countries
This is what
forward.
I'm coming to
This
say.
is what puts countries on the map. If we don't have that, then we are doomed.
This is what I'm saying. Countries like Singapore, Taiwan, and also the 4 tigers of Asia. They are called the 4 tigers of Asia. They don't have natural resources. What they have is this.
Education.
Yes, human capital. They educate their people and they become the leading exporting country in terms of computers.
Yes.
Taiwan.
Yes.
So what do we have? If you don't capacitize our people, bring people from Rwanda, Senegal for consultancy, and they take the money and go.
Yes.
But look, that's why I'm appealing to the president. Let him come and let him leave GTT aside for now and focus on UTG to reform the university. That is the best legacy. Even if you pass by, this library was built by the President, President Barrow, or this lab was built by President Barrow. So for that being the case, everyone, the National Assembly, let them take up the salaries of UTG as Senegal is doing and other countries. And then even the basic salaries alone, it will help to bring down the tuition fees so that everyone can have access to education. And then they help capacitize the Gambians. There are many Gambian professors and Gambian intellectuals outside who wants to come, but it seems like they are being blocked. They have no chance to come and serve the university. This is why I said this thing has to be more transparent. Because when I requested for this universal email for the Joint Search Committee, they said, no, don't you trust us? I said, what about us? Everyone having. They said, no, some people can forward the email to others. What about those 2 people receiving the emails? And what is the use of the Joint Search Committee? So all these problems happening, let them help the university. We need support. We are not performing in one sense because we don't have support. That's it. We are trying our best, but we don't have support.
You don't have the support. I hope the government hears this and then they take action. Because really, if the UTG fails, it's the country that is failing.
Yeah, because graduates are going to work for various ministries.
Yes.
These graduates you are producing,
These are the people who are going to be in the various government.
Exactly. They are the policy makers in the future. They are the minister. They will become ministers and they will become permanent secretaries. They will become directors. If they go with empty head, could they write? How can they write a report?
They cannot write a report. It is serious. It's a very serious issue. But also away from that, Doctor, you are also demanding for the financial statements of the UTG to be made public. Are you suspecting or worried that there is any lack of transparency or issues of corruption and the like at the UTG?
Corruption is everywhere,
including the UTG.
I said everywhere. I'm speaking English. It's everywhere in this country.
But let's be specific. Are you also including UTG?
I said everywhere, Lamin.
Okay. All right. Everywhere, Doctor.
Good. Now you can point at UTG, then I can talk about
it.
Yes.
Yes. How about the UTG?
Yes, it's there.
What is exactly happening there in terms of corruption?
I cannot be specific. You journalists, you look like investigative journalists.
But we have to investigate some of these things. We have to probe. We have to ask.
You go there and investigate.
But you raised it in some of your demands. It is in place for me to ask you.
I understand, but you can go and investigate.
But can you just tell us why do you want the financial statements of the university
for
to be made
transparency
public
purpose, like if it is
accessible to all?
Yes, some people are publishing their budget and income everywhere in the newspapers. So what is wrong with UTG? Let every school have their own budget. Budgets are allocated, but if you want to get the budget, it's a problem. You want to buy a marker, you have to write and wait. Huh? So all this, sometimes you come and find things. Oh, it's very sad. National Assembly Select Committee on Education, they are paid for them. We invited them to the university. We told them, come and see the infrastructure. Yes. Sometimes students will be in class, they stay outside. You know, they'll be outside standing because they have nowhere to sit. That's not the problem of, I don't put the blame entirely on UTG, but people are paid to do that job. National Assembly Select Committee on Education, let them come and see the infrastructure. MOHAS, let them come and have dialogue with the academic staff. Let them come and have dialogue with the students, and then as stakeholders. They have dialogue with the management, so that even the National Assembly, when they go back to Parliament, nobody will tell them this is what is happening, this is what is in my ministry. They will say, no, we went there, but we saw a different thing. Everyone must take responsibility because the university is sinking. It's just maslaha here and there trying to beautify things. Hey, things are not working there. As any student, they will tell you they are not happy. I went to campus today to pick something. I asked the lecturers to stay home, not to go. But I went there to see and then to pick something which I have to take. I went there, students came to me, and then they shook hands, with me, and they told me, keep it up, we are all behind you. Can you imagine? Students now, they are reading between the lines, and they say, we are all behind you. We have seen messages coming from the student union executive saying that there must be exams. That was the grave mistake they did.
They made a mistake.
The student union executive. Yes. This is a staff matter. You understand? At least they are expected to say, okay, we are trying to do the best. They inform the students that, okay, we'll try to do the best to solve the problem. But instead they said there must be exam on this. If they are used by anybody, I'm warning the students, appealing to the students, let them stay away.
This is not their problem.
We are their friends, and we are doing all this for their own benefit. So let not the student union executive, in fact, it's not all the students. About 800 students of psychology, they told the lecturer that we are in support of you because we are doing all this thing for our benefit. Do you understand? So it's just the executive. I'm not saying the executive in totality, but maybe a few individuals. They are writing these things and then it's going viral. They're confusing the students. At least try to mediate. Tell them, well, we want you to come together and sort out the body. Say there must be exams. We are going to teach them a lesson.
The students, you want to teach the students?
No, not the students.
But the staff.
Everybody.
Yes.
They threaten us.
Yes.
The management. You don't threaten academic staff. It's wrong. If you do that, the problem will never end. You solve problems in academia through persuasion. Do you understand? Through dialogue. Yes. But they say you face gross consequences. Now, who is facing the gross consequences? Huh? No exams. Are we calling the management for negotiation or they are? No, the students, they are room for exam. They can have exam after the Tabaski. I told you these problems can be solved within a week. Just hand over HR, do this and that. We all sit together and solve this problem.
At least I have a friend at the UTG who told me he didn't read. Exams was supposed to start today, but now he will have until September to read. Huh?
Not even September. If these problems are not solved, as I told you, coming together in one hall, including the minister, honorable minister, and then reps from office of the president as the chancellor, and then National Assembly, UTG, Governing Council, we all sit in one hall and solve the problem. We want them to come to the University of the Gambia. We are not going anywhere. Let them come. In 2016,
how about if the president says come to State House? You are not going to honor that?
University is apolitical. That one, the staff, we'll get back to the staff. They will decide.
Yes.
Because we are representing them. We don't take, this time around, we are not going to, the executive is not going to take any decision. We get back to the staff. If they say you can go, we go. Because we represent them.
Yes.
Then, but we cannot change anything here. No problem. But we want them to come and see how the university is moving. So it's a problem.
Doctor, do you have any final thing to say? I know there's a lot of issues, ground to cover, but I have another people that I have to interview for about 10 minutes. So if you have any final thing to say.
You say if you have any additional thing. Final thing is said by people who are
additional.
Yeah, who are about to leave this world.
Well, go ahead and say whatever additional.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, as I told you, I don't want to talk about everything, but definitely it's a very serious issue.
Yes.
Right now, we are appealing to the students to support us to make sure that all these problems are solved. These problems can be solved, as I told you, within a week. You understand? It's very simple. We are doing it for them. We are not punishing any student. They said they paid their tuition fees, they waited until exam, we have it. Yes. I told them, you strike the iron when it is hot.
Yes.
You know, that's the best time. Because now we strategically calculated these things. Because if the problems are solved, after Tobaski, enjoying your Tobaski, you can have your exams. If it is not solved, we are going to continue for 6 months. After 6 months, if it is not solved, for another 6 months. After that, for another 6 months. After that, for another 6 months. How many years? Up to 5 years, no problem. It's better to close the university than to have a primary school. It's very sad. If you go today to the university and interview every staff, they will tell you what I'm saying is true. Things are not working properly. It's only maslaha to cover one another. That's it. It's not working. And we encourage NACA to come and take responsibility. Really they are doing their best, but let them come and help us. Do you understand? People have been promoted sometimes. You see people having senior lecturer, associate professor, up to professor. You go to online, you don't see single publication.
Yes.
You become a professor and you have no single publication. It's a problem.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. So
we have serious issues. It would look like our problems, even at the university. It has managed to enter the UTG.
Me, my special appeal
yes.
to the president. Let him come and reform UTG.
And rescue the UTG.
Rescue and reform. Help. Put money in the university. Try to hire a very competent, preferably, let me put it that way, a Gambian vice chancellor with a very, very proactive and dynamic governing council.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
I'm not saying the current governing council is bad. Yes. I'm not saying that. But we want a substantive governing council. So that now, if you have a substantive governing council, the vice chancellor must work. This is what we want. The current vice chancellor, people are not helping him. They are not helping him at all. How can they travel to Nigeria for 15 days without informing anybody? They come 2 days, 3 days, they go to Senegal. They were forced, they cut their trip short to come. Because they know we mean business. And all staff are behind the staff association.
But for Anjum, he will be leaving the role anytime soon.
He's leaving in September.
September, yes.
So now you see, from now against September, they are advertising it now. What time is would Anjum have to coach or to help to smoothly hand over to the next vice chancellor? There's no time. Leadership is important. We are concerned. We are not saying we're going to interfere, but let there be transparency and the proper mechanisms be followed. You understand? So therefore, I'm also advising the students to stay away from it and then rally behind the staff. We are their partners. They need us. Our students are listening, and they know that definitely this is a genuine cause. Today, people are shaking hands with me. I say, what happened? They said, we are behind you. Can you imagine students saying this? Because they have read between the lines. So, to be honest, Lamin, there are a lot of things here which are internal. It's part of the demand, which I don't want to talk.
Yes.
So, which I don't want to talk about.
Yes.
We just leave it for now.
Yes.
And then we'll sort it out internally.
Doctor, thank you for coming. Thank you very much.
That
was a great interview, by the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lamin.
That is Dr. Aliu Jiba. He is the president of the Faculty and Staff Association of the UTG, speaking to us about the myriad of problems, really, at the country's top learning institution. But before we go, I'll be interviewing officials of people that are behind the Rock the Vote concert. On Saturday, there will be a big concert. This is geared toward encouraging young people, really, to go out and vote. If you want to know anything.
Home is where the heart is. Home is where you feel safe and secure. Dalaba Housing Estate is the newest estate by TAF Africa Global, located strategically along the newly built Sukuta Jabang Highway. Delaba Estates offers roads, street lights, a gated community that offers water reticulation system, solar street lights, and a proper drainage system. Over the next 10 years, TAF Africa Global aims to build 10,000 homes in the Gambia for you to own. For you to feel safe and secure in a community with all the necessities to live comfortably.
Welcome back. So before we go, we will have about 10 minutes and we will speak to people. Really, these are civil society actors who are behind the Rock the Vote concert. This concert will take place on Saturday. Really, this is a very important concert. Well, top Gambian musicians will be there to perform. But this is to encourage young Gambians to come out and vote in December. Not just that, but to register. And there is nobody that will be paying any money. You will just show your voter's card and then you will enter to watch the concert. And so I have Mr. Mohamed Ba. I also have Fatou Jallow. Mr. Ba, what is going on Saturday? This is a very big concert, I understand.
Of course, yes. We know that, statistics have shown that young people are not coming to register, even if you look at the dynamics over the period. And we know that youth constitute 64% of the population, which is not commensurating the actual, registration. So, however, we deem it necessary to also use a strategy to motivate young people to come on board and register. Our interest is that to see everyone to register, especially the young people. Yeah, it is on Saturday at the Serakunda West Park, and then a prominent artists will be there. They are all young, most of them, I can say, even not all of them. So, yeah, I think all of them are young. We have ST, we have Jizzle, we have Our Bling, Killer Ace, Attack, yes, and Barham and others. And even we will create a platform for young people to perform on poetry and even drama. And then we will send message not only on the performance aspect, but also to sensitize people in consolidating the piece. Because we've seen, derogatory remarks, attacks, on people on various political platforms. So I believe this show is just beyond a show, but is, an educative platform where we can send a very positive message.
So, Ms. Jallow, I mean, he said that, Jallow, sorry, sorry for, I mean, he is talking about young people forming the greater chunk of the population, yet when elections come, they are the people who tend not to go out and vote. I mean, you come from the civil society. I mean, what is the problem in terms of young people and not voting? Their apathy, this issue of young people not wanting to take part in such important exercises.
Yeah, I will talk from experience, because as civil society actors, what we used to do most of the time is to reach out to young people in the communities. But most of the time, what they will tell you is that they lose sense, or they lose appetite, or they're tired of probably the systems in place. So that makes them lose hope, and to them, they don't even need to decide. That is one aspect of it. And another aspect is that some of them traditionally think that decision making is for only the elderly. So at home, or the society saves them in such a way that they don't need to take part in decision making. So these are some of the reasons why young people are not participating to vote. So if you look at the Gambia, like MS said, voter apathy among young people, it's a concern. So this year, we want to make sure that is history, we change the narratives. And that is why we came up with this, because we know young people love, let's say, music or football. So this is why we decided to come up with this, to make sure that every young person that is eligible to vote, votes and also decides. Because the issue is, if you don't vote and you don't elect people into office, you don't stand the chance of holding them accountable. So it's high time we stop saying, I lose, hope in the system. If you lose hope in the system, what do you do to change the system?
It's the vote, of course.
Exactly. And if you want to be governed in a certain manner and you restrain yourself from the governing process, then you cannot sit down and say, I want this type of a government, I want institutional reform, or I want this or that. You have to, sometimes you have to be the change that you want to be. And that is only done if you register to take part. It's either by voting or being voted for. So it's high time the young people take part.
I mean, you mentioned something, and that is very true. Young people, they love music,
yes,
things like that. But what does it take for this concert? I think you have a ticket there. Is this
yes,
the ticket? But what does it take for some young people, a young person to enter?
It's for free.
Is it free?
Because
is it?
The voter's card is the only thing you need to show to
Yes,
those of us that have the tickets.
Yes.
And they would give you before the day. So you don't have to go with your voter's card on the concert or at the concert.
Well,
venue.
that will be messy.
Yes,
That
yes,
will not make
because
sense.
you might lose the voter's card, and that
yes,
will be against what we are advocating
Yes,
for.
yes.
So now what you do is, all these tickets are being distributed by some of us.
Yes.
I have some, and other people like MS and the artists themselves. And I think some of you, the media houses, will be giving you to also help. So you need to present your card, and they give you your ticket before you go to the concert.
So this is simple as that, right?
As simple as
I think you can say this in say it in Wolof, because I think I'm not solo because ñu ngi laka angale, and there would be a lot of people out there ñu nga xam maybe dégguñ angale or bëgguñ nga wax seen angale, dañ bëgg nga wax ci yes ñu ngi la discriminate exactly. So loolu
mo wax rek mooy Rock the Voter concert dafa nekk ndaje boo xam ne comme ñu ñoo ooyee civil society, ñun ñoo toog ñu xalaat ne comme ndaw ñi duñ dee dem saani karta, te lii nekkul loo xam ne réew mi dafa war a continuer noonu, because saani karta dafa bokk sa yelleef as doomi aadama. So léegi moo tax ñu ñëw ñu ne am na Saturday bii muy ñëw nii like Rock the Vote concert, loo soxla rek mooy sa voters card. So amee 18 years above dangaa dem register nga andi sa carte bi nga won ñu ko balaa bés bi ñu jox la ticket, loolu rek nga soxla. te because loolu tam ñu ngi koo def mooy waruñoo toog di wax ne man duma vote wala duma saani carte because man gisuma luy dem si kanam si réew mi, wala man bugguma bokka because ñun taluñu, wala waaw ñun suñ aada dafa wax ne mag yi ñoo war a dogal. So loolu den si war a passé léegi fu mu nekk nii xale yi yëpp ñoo xam ne jot nañ pour xam nga mun a wax, yow xam nga lu baax si yow, xam nga lu bon si yow. soo toogee nga ne doo saani karta naka ngay mun a waxee njiit bi yow li nga def baaxut. wala soo buggee ne tey gis nga war ngaa gis ne education it's free in the Gambia, but yow demuloo nga jël place boo xam ne mun nga koo def, wala war ngaa mun a téye koo xam ne mu nekk si place boobu nga won ko ne lii nga war a def. foog naa si saani karta la doore. soo buggee gis sa réew dem kanam, loo bugga ñu dégga sa kaddu rek dangaa saani karta wala ñu saani la, loolu rek la.
loolu rek la am na solo trop pour ñu wax ko si olof tamit. I mean you speak Mandinka MS ika manega kama fa MS. So ngalong this Rock the Vote concert membe kala on Saturday I mean abekala mintola Serekunda West Park
baraka bake lamin comme Fatou ya fo nyameng ya long funding kel ila ko ke dabula banku do ko kono akuma ya batale ibajalal ko section 2 of the constitution wala na constitution ako sovereignty lies in the hands of the people. Banko la tamandir silol na asembo be sunta muntole mol lekang mol mi yalon ko government ila bundal kabonyi mol le bala. So sai ngin sovereignty ngin sembo ibayitandila no nyaadele ila voters card. So walam carte fayoti wala la kangoti so saying nko dinimol funding kill mbe kafula no nyaadile because nga jele ko funding kill bukata register so saying mbe fena no nyaadile nga lonko funding kill e musical laftala le aning sports walang kata dam 40 or whatever and then saying nata ninging ideology nata nko rock the vote concert ninga ST fenang nga Jizul fenang Barham kila Azwal nge fenang nga Comediol fenang ye nanang ining ye mol tulundi dal andum fanam be wo platform o talale ka diamu funding kele ibe kairo sabatila nyade sabantindila nyade la banko kan election la karola because nga jele funding kele kata Facebook ka nyoneng kamola alfa neng ka politician ol neng annung ikanyo jibe ko ni tabe nyim party wala be nyim party doto atol man nyan kanyo jibe so andung jamal lon sama alfalti funding kellong so ni funding kel kata wo nyam alon ko banko titala nyato so ibajalal ko ni rock the vote concert il sulata minna ila voters kato rek malla fe fango kila information oje ibela voters kato tandilal nga tiketo dila so ibajala mo jamal hani sa mfongo ibem call kan ibita kan ni ka voters kato nyini because of this rock the vote concern so yajale it is impacting so mbe tiketol talakan so muntolong Serekunda West Medi Stadium ngalon ne ko West Parko abedame jam Westfield yes. More probably me tiketo deal la le fanan Fato Network. We will give you this ticket. We will give you maybe 50 tickets.
Of course.
You distribute it. I'll sadi mola miyalonko. Ibela voters card tandila rek. Money anything. Ibe voters card tandila rek. Nga ticket odila. Yeta. Ni tata. Yela voters card o mabo. Ini ticket o hena. Ni nata fanang. COVID compliance. Ni nata me maxo dile lale. Mbe hand sanitizer fanan dile lale so ni nata je ye fango enjoy STBJ cool BJ so ye fango enjoy
babar say mune atinna gambe funding kolu jama because mol ko to lel siara bagoka but ni nada political wala karola o ni nada election wala karola jama ka fo ko ndada ta je enten am nyum ko am mang interest for je
yalong ni gambe jibe there are a lot of factors ku jama le katin funding kill ibuke da dung political kono kisi role ketale even during the fenkol min tambita janning independence in 1962 1965 electional min keta referendumol minul kasiaje ke ballong so ibajelale funding kill it will force this societal perception ko dinungol imanya ke dabula politiko kono wo is a first thing secondly ibajalale funding kill ya mira system o itol ya mira nyame system o e fail because one funding kill le kata bakwe funding kill itol le fenke sunyaro itol le ka problem ol ke protest funding kill le daka dunje funding kille ka bata itolle ka ta nyindoku kolengoli ka soto under employment ta yedo ku rinke maso ya aninkol ibuke jo mi yalonko ay faida soto so ibajalale wo is a frustration ibajala itulia miracle dal ye neglect le banku doko la karola andunia jibe fon even minister of youth and sports ibajala ni atraye funding kill keje ibajala funding kill be fongo jela government le way government ka keba da malleje fanan funding kill mini alon ko ba try kam pour ka lo political level ika jele ika keba le gina dundi nim political la karola even sa at party level so ibajala wo system oni funding kill ba ntol political mu keba letati so wo fanang is something me alonko is lingering into the minds of andum fanang political awareness is a problem even the education system it has a greater role to play because iket karande minna ni kata education auto ibuke karandi ila banku di yala Ike karandi minna maybe 1 + 1 2 times something, or ye karandi agricultural also. But like civic awareness, abukataran na school kolomoto iba jalale from nursery school. Ni Gambia flago je balon na non Gambia flago constitution e balon na munatin na banko ka constitutional soto president ola doko mundi banko fango citizens, the duty of citizens is in the constitution. So mol balon na nyadile constitution e sase nyadile itebe banko doko kala nyadile abinya ndaka ken na school curriculum otole iba jalal ko dindingol kaddam before they grow janni be menna bajala ibe wo patriotism already ya develop le mota fole ta carte ni because wo ibalon na le already ifango balon na hey nyimun na symbole because mo buka fo eta domoro fela dom so iba wole understand la within your fingertips so iba jalale idabe bulala political kono political do mo bele bije is either you are doing politics but compartisan politics come ye dabula even that is good. It's good. It's a double no political parties. But until we are a political, we are doing this, with Gambians. Gambians are funding this. Until the fund can civil society coalition on elections. Dol fango ila poso kono yekodo bondi jelto andum ya la faje dole face mask ko donate dol ko okay benyin donate lale so it's squarely,
and you are almang tara party kirinto because ofana kumara and time war jumalti when I start
aba start la wulara mafangole maybe 6-7 rek music katafo dutala
but Miss Jao ngamira fanang ni se afono mole flakanto just a little bit because nying laftale mol men yalong the local people yenyum moy because akumara back.
Okay, I will try.
Try.
Well, the funny thing is,
try in Fula, let's see. But you cannot
speak. To convey message in Fula.
You cannot, but just try. They will understand.
Okay, coming with a direct one, pulle weather goal carte and the dumron. Right now, I see what a register imbe fi bewa weather carte pulle December. Johnny, civil society minen komen kafu men darani kulle yimbe be minen men badi min jodi men laari kulle funding ke sukabe be andanta ko kamen woni funding ke weddo ta ko carte si be weddo carte dum no famdi dal si a laari IEC sukabe weddo ta ko carte non ko fotino amen ha yara do wala les seda joni komin fala dum huuba dum iwa komin fala addu kulle ayed net o fof mo andanta haysa suka walla ka mawdo kono a foti weddagol carte anne heba on opportunity kulle weddoda carte joni hodum mi watta men addi yimobe ST Jizu our bling e Bright Star Entertainment e ngandanta kamen ko fi yimgol e watta e fi jalnugol yimbe so ben wonta Serekunda West Park joni hay hunde be lamdaki ma comme lamdi ma rek dum woni voters card dum woni carte ma o a hollay men carte ma o men jonna ma o ticket si men jonni ma doyna ar ko concert banga carte ma o wallina no feewi ko galle haray o majjan so ko ticket ma o rek addata te ko 6 wattu jego ha weta so minen hala non onon fof aron because dum ko andanta ko hollira neddo ano yidi leydi ma ko dum taki ano faale heb woppu carte ma o mbo faala da o weddano da on biddo leydi ka foto werdo carte because ko dum don woni kongol mangol
yeah,
I think you're good. Yes. You're good. Thank you guys. Thank you, Miss Jao, MS. Thank you very much. Yeah. By the way, MS, I know this is but let me, because you are also our vice president of the union. Today, the access to information bill passed. Finally. Now we only wait for the president to assent to it, and then it becomes law.
Yeah.
How is the feeling like among the journalism community?
Yeah, actually, this has been our, dream as journalists and citizens, because access to information bill it seeks to provide, a legal framework, a robust legal framework to ensure that public informations are accessible to the citizens.
Yes.
And then this is not for journalists alone. Even National Assembly will benefit from it, even public institutions. So it is overwhelming. We've seen even civil society organizations trying to congratulate, the Gambia as a whole and the GPU and the civil society coalition on access to information, because they've done a tremendous effort to ensure that this bill is now passed.
Yes.
So, probably I will also ask you, how do you feel?
I feel great. I feel great about it, because now I can go to a public official and he will be obliged to give me information that I need. So I feel great about it.
And Lamin, there is one thing that I love about the access to information bill, because it has an overriding effect.
Yes.
On all the bad laws, Public Secret Act, laws that are century, 100 years of age, they're here. The Telegraph Act, and some of the laws that are impeding journalists or citizens to get public information. So I believe this access to information bill, and also the beautiful part of it is we will have a commission which will oversee the implementation of this law, and it will be an independent autonomous body which will be appointed by the president through the National Assembly. Even the president should, sack someone. It could not be automatic. What happened is, I have read the bill. I went through the bill. It says if the president wants to terminate someone's contract, that is a commissioner, the president should, establish an independent inquiry to look into the matter.
That particular
and then, if that report comes, it has to go to the National Assembly for approval.
Yes.
So there will not be toothless bulldogs. And also people who will be there will be people of integrity. I think the bill has already spelled out people who will be there. So obviously, this is definitely, I think people should embrace it. Gambians should embrace it as a Gambia, and then ensure that it is implemented to the latter.
Mr. Vice President, you wanted to add?
I want to say something.
Of course.
I am happy because it's something that is beneficial.
Yes.
Just a misconception to clarify with regards to the concert.
The concert, exactly.
Yes, I just want the public to know that this concert has no political bearing.
Yes.
There is no political party that is sponsoring this.
Yes.
Not even an NGO, as in a donor, is sponsoring this. It's purely civil society.
Yes.
Civil society, individual organizations, and individuals like myself and MS. I personally contributed my money. A lot of other Gambians that are patriotic did contribute their monies to this. So I just want the public to stay away from certain negativities that, this is just purely meant to help people to register and vote. And I think that is the mandate of the IEC, and we are complementing their efforts. The National Council for Civic Education is doing it. We are complementing their efforts. So it is apolitical, and then let us stop from spreading that false
Exactly. And clearly, I did not lose sight of that. But I only thought that we should ignore all these negative stuff that are coming up. Because people in anything you do in this country, people say all kinds of rubbish. So it is only sometimes only sensible that you ignore some of these things. But this is a very good clarification.
Because some people have already believed and they think it was political. But now they are aware. Some are even texting to say, we thought it was sponsored by
one party, one particular political party. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that clarification there. So MS, thank you, Miss Zhao. So that will bring us to the end of the show today. Thank you for being there. We will be back next week. Until then, so this is so we have ours. The Fado Network. There are 50 free tickets here. I think I myself, but I don't have a voter's card yet, so I will not be able to. I will not qualify.
No, you can come and cover.
Of course, I'll register. Most definitely this weekend I'll register. But this is the tickets that will be with us. So if you have a voter's card and you are young people who is interested in Saturday's concert, you can walk to our offices or you can contact me, and you will have to just show me your voter's card, and you will get one. Until then, my name is Lamin Jai.
Thank you.